Hi Sam. It's great to see you again. Today, we're going to learn the word
reagieren,
Hi Alex.
Reagieren.
What does that mean?
reagieren,
means to react. It's commonly used when talking about how someone responds to a situation. You might also see it mean to respond or to act in a certain way. Just be careful because a false friend in English is,
react,
which can sometimes lead to confusion.
Interesting. So, how do we use
Reagieren.
in a sentence?
Good question. It's a verb, so let's look at its conjugation. In present tense, you say,
ich reagiere. Du reagierst.
and.
Sie, es reagiert.
For the past tense, you would say,
Ich reagierte. Präteritum.
and in.
Perfekt.
It becomes.
Ich habe reagiert.
You can also use it in the imperative form like,
Reagiere schnell.
if you're giving someone a command.
I see. Can you give me an example with
Reagieren.
in a sentence?
Absolutely. For example,
Ich reagiere immer schnell auf E-Mails.
which means I always react quickly to emails.
Oh, that makes sense.
The word
Reagieren.
comes from the Latin word,
Reagere.
which means to act again. It evolved through Old High German.
Reagieren.
Before settling into the form we use today. Isn't it fascinating how words can travel through time?
Yes, it really is. I love learning about the history of words.
Now, let's break down
Reagieren.
into its parts. The prefix means again, and the root
Agieren.
comes from the Latin word for act. So, when you piece it together, it suggests acting again or responding.
That's a cool way to look at it.
If we look at similar words, there are quite a few. For instance,
Agieren.
means to act,
Reagieren.
means to react,
Interagieren.
means to interact,
Kooperieren.
means to cooperate, and
Praktizieren.
means to practice. They're all connected through the idea of action.
That's a lot of action words.
Yes, and there are also compound words. For example,
Zusammenarbeiten.
means to collaborate. The last noun is
Arbeiten.
So it's feminine, and that's why the compound is feminine too.
So it's like building with Lego blocks.
Exactly. Now, let's practice speaking. Imagine you're at work and a colleague asks for your input on a project. You could say,
Ich reagiere auf dein Feedback.
Ich reagiere auf dein Feedback.
perfect. Now, try this situation: you're waiting for test results at the doctor's office, and you want to express your concern. You could say,
Ich reagiere nervös auf die Ergebnisse.
Ich reagiere nervös auf die Ergebnisse.
great job. Now let's say you're traveling, and someone asks how you feel about a new city. You could say,
Ich reagiere begeistert auf die Stadt.
Ich reagiere begeistert auf die Stadt.
excellent. Now, let's talk about gender hints. Since
Reagieren.
is a verb, it doesn't have gender, but if you were looking at the noun form,
Reaktion.
it's feminine. You can remember it because it ends in,
Tion.
which is often a hint for feminine nouns.
That's a helpful trick. Are there any common phrases or collocations with
Reagieren.
Yes, there are. You might hear,
Reagieren auf.
which means to react to,
Schnell reagieren.
meaning to react quickly, and
Nicht reagieren.
which means not to react. Just be careful not to confuse it with,
Reagiert.
which is a different form.
I'll remember that. What are some example sentences with
Reagieren.
Sure. Here are a few.
Sie reagierte positiv auf die Nachrichten.
Means she reacted positively to the news. Or,
Hat nicht auf meine Frage reagiert.
which means he didn't react to my question.
Those are great examples.
And here's one more.
Ich habe gut auf den Vorschlag reagiert.
Which translates to, I reacted well to the proposal.
Got it.
Now, let's do a quick recall check. What is the meaning of
Reagieren.
It means to react.
correct? How do you say I react in German?
Ich reagiere.
Good. What was the past tense form?
Ich reagierte.
That's right. Now, can you give me an example of a sentence using
Reagieren.
in the imperative?
Reagiere schnell.
Perfect. Last question, what is a false friend related to?
Reagieren.
It's
React.
Great job, Sam. To summarize, we learned that
Reagieren.
means to react, has interesting historical roots, and is a versatile verb with many uses. Keep practicing, and you'll see great improvement.
Thanks, Alex. I feel more confident with this word now.
I'm glad to hear that. See you next time.